Just cool people. It's good. It's good to be a former champion, and it's good to be here watching another Fury of Dracula game between two of our teams who are a little bit lower on the standings, admittedly, but the game is no less important. Who wins here? They have everything to play for. The pride. I think this should be a good game. Also, World War II, that got me really good actually. Like this is more important than you like sporting events, and you're like World War II, and I was like, oh no, I'm just gone. Uh, okay. Yes. Mina's got a rifle. Very exciting. Really? What about him specifically? Okay. I'll add that to your trading card. Randiv fan. I did not know that before today. All right. If Captain Jero and Randiv are both on the field, they both get +1. So. uh, oh, do not banding. You don't want to have band. That's a downside. The card gets worse because both people have to look up what that card does every time it's involved in combat. Uh oh, they can't hear you. They can hear me though. No, no. They can hear the important person. No, it's not true. We should get that. All right. Hanging out. All right. I'm keeping an eye on the game. You're not missing it. You're not missing anything. They're just supplying. Oh, that's weird. They've been hearing me have a one-sided conversation with myself. Keeping an eye on the game. You're not missing it. You're not missing anything. It's good to see you, Geo. Determinator. That's what, determination is a really good virtue. I feel like a lot of things can be overcome if you just like keep running into that brick wall until eventually it breaks down. Like undervalued maybe. People are like they just want to be strong, but like or like they want an attribute that's like, like the ceiling is very high. Oh, uh psychic scan hit
Okay.
on day 1?
Whoa,
What?
let's go. Chat, let me know if you can hear me now. We should be all good here.
Randiv must be feeling pretty good about himself right now. Psychic scanning with Mina on day 1, you want to be ticketing, I feel
Did
like,
he
but no,
start did he start them both in 58? Or did he
yeah,
move her?
no, they were both in 58.
Mm-hmm.
I like the setup a lot. I think it's a smart play, and I mean, it worked out here. I mean, he found out that where do we think he is? Is it Belgrade? Is it Klausenberg? What?
Klausenberg. I think Klausenberg. Um, yeah, I've seen that done before. You start in Klausenberg, you assume they're not going to psychic bond on the first night, and then
Okay,
you move over to Galatz to put your first encounter down, right?
I did misspeak. They scanned last night on the first encounter space. So we know he was in Austria-Hungary on the first encounter, not necessarily the first night. So
Okay,
day two.
okay.
Day two. I misspoke before.
So the
Um,
encounter is in Klausenberg or Belgrade or I mean it could be a lot
I
of
feel
different
Worm
places.
Talon started Belgrade against me in our game. In a friendly game, I think he did. He started Belgrade.
Kind of
Maybe it's picking up
clever.
steam.
I mean, it's not a place anybody would think to check.
Yeah. and it's still 2 days away
Right.
by
It's
most
not. It's
conventional
not
means.
too close to the hunters that you're making things easy for them.
Like they're gonna have to either chance a horse roll or have a yellow two ticket. Which, if they're ticketing a lot to get those white ones, because they undervalue the train, they might not be able
Naturally.
to use the train
Naturally.
effectively.
As so many hunters do, but not Randiv. He knows a good train.
Randiv knows a good train. Okay, maybe
Oh
that's
yeah.
why you're a fan of his. You see him using the train, you're like, yes, this is a hunter I can get behind.
Yeah, yeah. You got to understand the power of the modern technology. When you think about when the train was invented, Pizza Wizard, it changed
It is the
everything.
steel horse.
Oh, and there is
Oh,
Belgrade right there.
not the first encounter, it's the second.
Interesting. So where does that put the
Okay,
first one?
I feel like it's got to be Klausenberg, right? Like you wouldn't put it in 53. They can get there in one rail move, unless you intend for them to hit it. In which case, maybe you do put it in 53 or 49. Hmm.
If you put like a bats in 53 or something like that.
Yeah. How did you find that? That was a Jonathan Harker search? Okay.
Then
Well, so
you
it looks like Randall was
so
thinking along similar lines. He wanted to check Belgrade. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
so you put the bats down in 53, right? Then
Hmm.
you put something in Belgrade that you want to mature. Then you go to 28 and you put down a reckless, right? And then you can bat them into the reckless.
Yeah.
And if it's
And I mean,
Mina,
if
that could be really valuable. Get the kill in the night fight.
the other thing is that by starting in 53, or having your first encounter in 53, you're leaving a lot of options open because 53 is not normally a space you would go to, right? Like, let's say he had gone to Klausenberg and then go to Belgrade. Now the hunters know he can't go back to Klausenberg, right? But the hunters never really would have thought he went back to 53. It's really unlikely. Now from 6, he could go like try to go towards Munich. He could go to 28, like you said, if 53 is his first encounter space, and lay a trap there. Like it just leaves there is some value, I think, in going to like the quote unquote bad spaces earlier, so you leave yourself more options of good spaces to move later. Like I think
Oh
that
yeah,
is real. It's not
yeah.
a huge thing, but
No, I mean it makes sense. Like you're a little exposed in Belgrade, but so what? It's only day 3. They're not prepared to take you on yet.
mhm.
What is he gonna do? Play Speedy Telegraph and Renewed Vigor and Chartered Carriage and Planned Ambush? Like it's not gonna happen. It's too
Yeah,
early.
Randiv, not Scott Sword. He wouldn't draw all four of those events, on day one, and then trade them over and have it all set up perfectly. Ugh.
Going wall up Dracula, and even if that does happen, they're unlikely to kill you, which means they've now expended a bunch of cards and you can get away.
I think that's the key to this game, right? Is hunters have all of this like potential energy, and they kind of get to choose which fights they want to take. But the problem is, as soon as they try to take a fight and use some of their cards,
Now they're
if
gassed
they don't
out.
get there, right, they gas out, right? Like you don't want to sprint before the finish line. You got to make sure you only have to kill Dracula one time, and you have the cards to do it. But if you go after him and miss, if you take a shot at the king, don't miss, right? You better
Yeah,
get him.
exactly. Um, that's a big part of Dracula play, I think, is managing the risk such that when it does go down, you're able to weather the storm and keep moving on, even if you're limping along, because that might be enough. Even if you're really damaged, it might be enough that they can't catch up with you now because they used everything to get you.
Well, I even remember I was watching a game you commentated, and you said something like you kind of want to get in the 2v1 as Dracula
Yeah,
early, so that
yeah.
like you have, before they have all their cards, because if you wait until trying to get something risky later in the game, they will almost certainly have all the cards.
Right. They'll be more prepared the longer the game goes on. Unless it's one of those games where you're able to just like really wear them down with the trail, like just constantly damaging them and keeping them down. Like that's another strategy. But generally, yeah, you kind of want to provoke the hunter player into doing something. You want to provoke him into making like a suboptimal play. Like, yeah, we know where Dracula is right now, and in a turn or two he's gonna have wolf form, and then we're gonna lose him. It's now or never, that kind of thing. And then he goes in with like sort of an less than fully prepared hand of cards. You survive that fight, maybe get a kill, maybe bat away, and you're laughing like you're ready to have a good second half of the game.
I mean, I think there is some value in like dealing a bunch of damage to everybody. I think there's even more value in trying to kill one person because hunters have a lot. Hunters can heal every day, right? If you're just like dealing 2 damage to every hunter, they can heal that relatively easily. If you can deal like 6 damage to one, then you get to the point where now they have to kind of be careful, right? Because they don't want to die. And if they do die, well, let's say you're in the middle of week 2 and you lose like a white one or a horse. What are you gonna like? You don't have time to just sit there and supply. You don't have another week to sit there. I mean, you do have another week, but you have to like do other things on the board as well at that point in the game. Um, Killing a hunter can be very. I think I've underestimated how bad killing a hunter can be because you often by the time you get in those late fights you have a great strength, but if you can get the hunters early and they don't have a great strength, or they search a vampire at night, with Mina or something, and you get a bite off, or like there's a bad night fight vampire, and then they like you're nearby and they try to jump on you with that. If you can just like apply a lot of pressure on one person like in quick succession, it's very good. Or like you said, if you're just wearing them down, like you hit them with the spy, they discard their weapon. It was Klausenberg.
It's Klausberg, yeah. Like, okay, take like 59 and 49, right? Like Zagreb, Sarajevo. You
Mm-hmm.
put layers in a place like that, and now, depending on how the horses turn out, the hunters might have to actually go through those layers, and those extra encounters can really add up. Like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
landed on a layer with wolves and mob, then I landed on a layer with a reckless, then I moved to Dracula's current location and he's standing on a new vampire and Dracula's there. All of a sudden, your hunter's not looking so good.
Yeah, I think especially when you're in a situation like Spain and Seward is the only one dealing with the trail and he's like moving and searching every night, he's not healing, right? If he's
Right.
moving and searching every night, that means he is not healing. So he like has to take encounter after encounter after encounter until eventually the hunter player kind of has to like tap out and say Seward is not going to move and search tonight because he needs to heal or he needs to supply or he needs to do something else. Um, in the East, that's not going to be as much of a concern because you have 2 hunters there, so hopefully they can kind of divide and conquer. Or one of them will be sent forward with like very good items, and the other one can kind of sit back and keep supplying. That is kind of the paradox of having Mina and Godalming in Vienna and Dracula starts east. Because you want, ideally, if you're looking for a horse, you want Godalming to sit there and supply to get it, because he gets twice as many items. But that means you're sending Mina alone to deal with the trail, which can be bad. Like, if she gets caught by a bats or something into a night fight with a vampire, she can just die, right? Um,
But that just begets the question of like what the real question is what to do with Mina. Because you can't put her in Bordeaux or Dracula starred in Spain and now she has to deal with
yeah,
Spain. You can't put
I
her in
really think the Mina
Spain.
in Spain is bad. Mina in Spain is bad. I know people have been doing it. I don't think it works. I mean, maybe it will work some of the time, but I feel like she's way too weak. She's already your weak link,
Mm-hmm.
and don't make her your weakest link. Because at least when she's with Gnomeg, she can, she gets items from him, right? So she'll be guaranteed to, she'll probably have at least one anti-fang item. And she'll probably have, like, the stake, so she's not risking, like, a night fight when she's just in counter space. Maybe she'll get a horse, so she can, like, move around better to, like, have better movement, so she's not kind of bogged down by being surrounded by layers or something. I feel like putting her with Godalming kind of shores up her weakness a little bit, just by giving her better items.
Better item selection. Yeah.
Mhm. And then if there's something near them, if necessary, Godalming can go deal with it. Especially with like seduction and stuff running around because of duos and dark calls. Mina, like as soon as Dracula has an event and he's not playing it, I immediately am thinking, is that seduction? Can I search with Mina on potential vampires? Because Mina just dies, right? You cannot do it. If you Mina searches a vampire and they have seduction, Mina is dead. Great strength won't save you. Nothing you have will save you. Mina just dies immediately. Um, it is a horrifying proposition to play against. Speaking of which, there has been no Dark Call. I don't know if we haven't had Dracula events on top, or if that's not part of how do you say his name, Azaghal? Hold
Yeah,
on.
it could be his plan that he doesn't want one yet.
Especially since he got found so early, maybe he just doesn't want to like tempt fate by staying still on like
Yeah.
a revealed.
Why rush things? Get a little obfuscation going, and then when they don't know where you are, eventually there'll be a drag card on top.
I think this is really the strength of the setup, though, because you see Dracula discovered early in the East. Seward can immediately just move to Marseille.
Oh yeah,
One
if he
move,
gets there
he's now
so
in
quickly.
Marseille.
If he gets a
You
horse
know, if
and
he
the
has a,
horse economy is straightened out, next turn he's going to be in Munich. It
or
always
worst case scenario, he can use the trail to get to Vienna in 2 turns because he can go to Genoa and then bring up.
yeah,
But yeah,
it surprises me how quickly Dr. Seward seems to get over to the middle of the map from Bordeaux or from
well,
Madrid.
it's a trade-off, right? You're kind of betting that Dracula is not going to start in Spain. Because if Dracula doesn't start in Spain, I think Seward, it's just better for him to be in Bordeaux. The argument against it is like, yeah, you're leaving Spain a little more open. The proximity events are going to be worse because Bordeaux is a lot less centrally connected than Madrid is.
Let me ask you
An evil
this.
presence doesn't reveal it in Bordeaux.
Maybe
Yes.
we've been doing it wrong. Maybe he should be starting in Marseille in 36. What do you think about that?
Ooh. Okay. So the reason I think that maybe is taking it a step too far, because now if he's in Marseille, Dracula, who puts an encounter in 26 or 12, is practically guaranteed to mature unless you have either sense of emergency or chartered carriage or perfectly set up horses. And even with any of those things, you still need 2 days to get there just barely in time. Right? I think putting it in
Good
Marseille
point.
is a little bit too, because in Bordeaux, you can still get to any of those spaces theoretically in one space with the right cards, except for 12 and 26. But I
Well,
always search 12 and 26.
what about Paris then? Because from
But then you can't
Paris,
get to the rail ports. You can't get to Alicante, right? Like that's 31. I guess you can get to
you can
47.
in 2 days or with a chartered carriage.
I feel like the benefit of putting it in Paris, right, is that now you are putting more pressure on the center of the map. But I think that Bordeaux also does that while being one rail closer connections, like one rail closer to
Yeah,
Spain.
but when you're in Paris, if Dr. Seward draws a local rumors or an evil presence, it's way more valuable.
That would be big. Checking Strasbourg and Geneva would be so big.
Not to mention
That is true.
traps in Le Havre for Van Helsing
Hmm.
are found out. The old I'm gonna start in Nantes trick. Well, 8 works against that too, but it reveals the Dracula Highway 15, 24, 51.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh, I don't know if I really hate it, to be honest with you. Yes,
I don't know if I hate
it
it.
leaves Spain a bit more open, but there's kind of always going to be places that take you 2 days to get to. So I mean,
I think that
you can train to Madrid and then move to 26 or 12. The problem really is that Dracula's going to put bats in Madrid if he wants to
Mhm.
go that route.
I agree with you. There's always going to be holes no matter where you put people. I think the goal of the setup is that those holes are in the middle of the map, and that way you will automatically be covering the exits rather than being
Hmm.
in an extremity location where the closest guy Seward immediately has to go down there, leaving kind of the center of the map open until Godalming and Mina can kind of swoop in, right? Like let's say the hole is in the middle of the map, the hunters are kind of already blocking the exits just naturally by being on the outside of it, right? And Dracula, I mean, we have seen some Dracula start Central Europe. I think it does work. It's not a bad idea, but I think that when they do that, they're kind of banking on the fact that the hunters are going to get caught up, being confused, and they're going to try to search the spaces and then he's going to be able to slip away, like going. He's threatening to go in many different directions because he's in the middle of the map. Sense of emergency. It looked like okay. He did move Mina. Sorry, back to what we're looking at on the board right now. Mina did move to Budapest last turn. Looks like Godalming is sense of emergency to get to Belgrade. Mina presumably going to deal with Klausenberg.
So it would seem.
I kind of like using some of these movement events early. Like I know it's like you're not like maybe like using them to get on Dracula, but at a certain point in the game, if you're supplying enough, you kind of get to the point where you have too many event cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Especially if 100 draws 3 good ones. And I think that if you're going to discard like a charter character or a sense of emergency because you have better cards in your hand, might as well just use it early to get a better hand on the trail. Like I think that that's pretty okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that mindset. It's better than just chucking them out because you have Vampire Lair and Heroic Leap and Chartered Carriage and Sense of Emergency all in one hand.
It's kind of like a dichotomy between like there are some events I will absolutely try to save until the last possible moment. Others I'm like kind of okay using. Sense of emergency is what I'm okay using. Hiding in Valona.
Especially early when it's actually good to use Sense of Emergency when you're actually not going to jump on Dracula because that 2
True.
damage can really be significant. You land on him, He does another 2 damage with his encounter. He does another 2 damage with the hide card. He's going to hit you at night for another 2 damage. That's 8 damage already, assuming
Hmm.
he's on the hide card. If he claws you, it's 10. I mean, yeah, that really adds up. But he's
Yeah,
not letting
I don't.
Dracula hide.
That's true. Dracula is like a celebrity, all right? People are reporting on his every movement right now. The question is, does it matter?
He's
And I
letting the
don't
hobos get
really
us.
know that it does. Like, it helps, obviously, that he knows where he
Right.
is.
Better to know
But,
than not know, but what are you going to do about it?
I mean, Seward was blocking Munich anyway, so you knew he wasn't leaving, right? I think the worry is maybe that he was in 59, and now he can wolf form out, and maybe that now has been, like, that's not a possibility anymore. It does make it difficult for Dracula to move, I suppose, because what is he gonna do tomorrow? Is he gonna move again and go to either Salonika or Athens, essentially guaranteeing that he will in fact like leave unless he will form from Salonika?
Or do you just go to
I
the
don't know.
Adriatic
Do
and
you just
wolf
go to the
form?
Adriatic? I guess that would like put to the test how much do the hunters care about these encounters. Do they just ignore them and run after you, or do they spend the time to clear them out?
Mm.
How well set up are their horses to
Well,
leave?
this trail's going to slide, and then he'll move to C, and Valona will be on the third space of the trail. And since he's at C, he actually won't be able to rumor Valona, which is significant here. Now, on the other hand, if he were to feed, I think he could still rumor it.
I am a little bit. I should know these things. I wish I should know them. I don't.
I'm not sure
Why
if you
did
can
he
rumor it when he feeds.
revealing the lats as a power move just to like show every space on the trail with the newspaper?
Yeah, I like the style. I like the flex.
Oh, Vampire in Belgrade? No.
It's the Belgradish mob.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Sagani do kind of live in this area, so this is like canonically a proper encounter to have kind of near Dracula's castle. Now we just need like a 228,
on your
and then we'll be
ancient
good. Oh.
lore.
Well, I've been reading. I've been reading the book again.
Ooh, I'm so excited for you. I love the book.
Well, I've read it before. I had a slow day the other day, and I was like, man, I kind of want to read something. So I was looking at my bookshelf, and I was like, hold on, I have my copy of Dracula.
Oh, I love
Maybe I
it.
could pick that up again.
I mean, I'm obviously a big Dracula fan, but I think the book is just great, like on its own merits. I just really enjoy the prose and like some of the imagery is really well done. Dracula as a book to me is underrated for its like eldritch horror elements, if that makes any sense. If you're like an H.P. Lovecraft fan or anything like that, Dracula is not Cthulhu per se, but the atmosphere, the vibe, if you will, that I think Stoker was going for, is sort of adjacent to that. Like there's madmen and like horror that's beyond our understanding. The idea that like science is powerless against what they're facing because it's so unknown. He's very much like a like almost a cosmic threat.
It's interesting to put a hoax in closet. Maybe it's hoping that they would just ignore it. When it was only 2 land spaces away. Like, they could have gone there in one day if they had horses. I mean, it took 2 days to do it, so it's better for them. But...
Well, yes. Typically, you want to put hoaxes further away so they have a chance of maturing, but they also are just great for delaying people.
I mean, you burned a stake, which is, hey, that's a real... I mean, Godalming also has one, but that's a real loss. You know, if you had, like, let's say that was the only stake that was here in the East, which is possible.
Oh yeah, that could have been the case. Especially if
I do want to offer
some of them out for horses and stuff.
One counterpoint to your like what you're saying about Dracula. I feel like Dracula is a deeply human monster. Like his motivations are, or in my understanding of it, like he's this guy from centuries ago whose like family was like, I mean, there's a lot of media adaptations of Dracula. Like if we're saying, I don't remember if in the book, I'm not quite back to that part yet where he's like talking about his origins, but like he's like this like nobleman who lived hundreds of years ago, right, and became a vampire through some like deal to like preserve his people. right? And then over time, obviously, being a vampire is like made him super evil. I feel like that's deeply human though. Is like this the self-preserve like he did this thing to like preserve himself. And then over time, he kind of like when he was no longer human, right? He kind of became this like undead monster bent on destruction and like conquering of everywhere.
Oh
But I
yeah.
feel like that's a very human goal. Like that is, I mean, we've seen throughout
Oh
history, right?
yeah, certainly he has like understandable motivations and stuff like that. But I just mean in terms of the overall tone and like the
Oh yeah,
from the perspective of the heroes. I mean, Jonathan Harker, his whole hair turned white overnight after his experience at the castle. Like that's
yeah.
very much kind of reminds me of like an H.P. Lovecraft type of story.
The asylum
Yeah, there's
with Jon
madmen in
Stewart,
the
like
asylum
Renfield,
who are like
that whole
they
sequence
have
with
like
him.
prophetic knowledge because they're insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like people go insane just from being in contact with Dracula. Like it's not quite on the level of say like witnessing some kind of elder being, but he does certainly have like this crazy weird supernatural effect even just from being around him.
I really liked actually like the story of Renfield. Like he's not the main character of the book, obviously, but like he's this guy who's clearly deranged and he's being influenced by Dracula. But in the end, doesn't he like have his like moment of redemption where he tries
Mm-hmm.
to like stop him? I mean,
Spoiler alert. No, just kidding. The
sorry, we're
book's like 200 years old.
Look, it's been out for 200 years. If you haven't seen it, read it, that's on you. But I really like that moment. Like, I feel like even that shows like even in the most like one of the most deranged individuals in the entire series, like when faced with pure evil, he did what he could in the moment. Which, not to say, everything else he did in the book was great, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
thought that was
he tries to stand up to Dracula when Dracula's gonna eat Mina Harker
hmm
because he liked her so much. Which is another great thing about the book is the characters they're all so bigged up. Like Mina Harker is just this terrific character. She's like smart and clever, but also extremely like kind-hearted and merciful.
hmm I think any good story, the character work is really what lays the foundation for it, right? Like you can't have a good story without like compelling characters who are like fully fleshed out, and we definitely got that. Even though this was only like the book was told through like a bunch of different mediums, right? You have like newspaper clippings and diary entries, and maybe that's why we feel like we know the characters so well. Is everything we see is from one of their perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like their thoughts being laid out on the page. And I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, why is that not working?
Got a bug, it seems. That's irritating. My favorite part of the book is when Van Helsing goes to Dracula's castle and murders all of Dracula's wives with stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 72-year-old man, he just got 3 vampire kills in one night.
And look, if they're aristocratic, if they're used to sitting around, you come in during the day. Maybe, yeah.
Oh, they were all new vampires. Relatively new.
Oh.
Relative to Dracula.
Well, while they're working out this event training bug, I mean, look at Godalming. He's at 6 HP. Like, he's dealt with one encounter. He's now moving on to Sophia to deal with another encounter. Like, is he going to keep going to Bologna, or is he going to, like, tap out?
He got mobbed up. And then what else happened? He got hit by...
We'll just sense of emergency.
Sense of emergency, right. Yeah, he's down to 6. He's still got a stake, though, so he can stake Sophia.
Well, right, but, like, let's say there's, like, I don't know, wolves in Sophia, and he only has one weapon. Now he's at 4. Is he going to keep going? I feel like he's got to, like, bail at that point.
Yeah,
and Dracula did
Bologna
move.
with
He didn't
the
go
high
to sea.
card is pretty scary.
Like, did he go to Sarajevo? I think Sarajevo right now is the worry as hunters, right? Because if it's not Sarajevo, he's like all but guaranteed to go to sea. But if it is Sarajevo, he has options, right? He could keep moving on land, and then you kind of want to be in a position to stop him.
Well, he can't go back to Belgrade without misdirecting it.
True, unless he dark called today.
So he would either He would either hide or feed or move on to 59.
Well, he's already hidden, so he can't do that.
Oh,
But he
right,
could
right. He
wolf
would
form.
either
Like if he
feed
even
or
if
move
he
on to
wolf
59.
forms from 49, like wolf form from 49 isn't great, but he could it threatens that he's gone back to a port, or he could go to Bucharest, right? Let's say Godalming wants to go to Bucharest to heal up from
Yeah.
his like injury, right? And then he finds
Uh,
Dracula there.
you could wolf form from 49. And you're like threatening to go to Athens, you're threatening to be in Bucharest or 58 or whatever. But that seems so goofy. Cause now what? Well, now what, Pizza Wizard? You're in 58 with no wolf form. You're in Bucharest with no wolf form. You're
Ooh,
in
Saboteur. Look,
Athens with no wolf form. Like, none of those are good. None of
I
those are
wouldn't go
good
to
at all.
58. 58 would be bad. Unless 58 is only good if Seward moves on to 49 to check it, and then you move into Munich and you're happy as pie. But
Could Saboteur?
yeah,
Maybe. I mean, a damaging encounter might have been useful too, but now he's looking at getting a mature and a roadblock, which,
Godalming
you
is
know.
just confused why his stake is not killing all of these people who are fighting him. He's like, I have the stake,
Excuse me,
it's just not working.
are you a vampire? Mob is like, no, none of us are vampires.
Random guy who's like broke his carriage wheel,
No,
also not a
they're
vampire.
only vampire adjacent.
Because there's no way he's gonna like deal with Sophia now, right? Like that's just not gonna happen. It's definitely gonna
No,
mature.
Dracula's gonna get the roadblock token probably.
Or Godalming moves off of Sophia, he moves on to Sophia with his 3 encounter lair, one of which we know is Saboteur. But
But
eh?
he couldn't do that for several days.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so let's say I don't know. Let's say he's in 49 today, right? He wolf formed, or he's in 46, or like he's in 46 or 49. He wolf forms today to get with one space away from Sophia. He like dark calls or feeds or whatever, depending on what the situation is, and then he goes back to Sophia, and now he has
Yeah.
like 3 ports.
I mean, you could if you were in 49 or 46, if you really wanted to go that route, I would say you wolf form to 10. Then you go 1756 and you loop around to Sophia that way, right?
I feel like that almost gives him too much time. I feel like you can't go to Sophia if they're so far into the east that then they're able to block all the ports. Then you feel pretty bad. Oh,
There's the dark call.
wait, now this means he can go to Belgrade next turn if he's in 49.
Oh, are we gonna get to see what this card is already? Play immediately.
It's waiting on him. It must have wait immediately, play immediately as an option at least.
Play it immediately? Nope. He's going
And
to
he's
hold
not
on to
playing it
this one,
immediately.
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. What it has it play immediately as an option, but you would not play it immediately. I mean, I guess summon storms, something that triggers at the end of the
Oh
Dracula
no,
phase, maybe.
that's just metagaming. We don't do that here.
Oh, sorry. I'm not the hunter player. We don't metagame. It could be anything, guys. Probably enraged.
It could be anything at all. It probably is enraged. That would explain the prompt.
Yes. It's just since it's sensationalist press because of all of the news that they've been getting.
Right, right.
That would
Well,
make
that
sense.
would be a real kick in the teeth for Dracula to get sensationalist press now, after all the hired scouts in the newspapers have gone up. Where'd he
But now I
go,
don't know.
chat?
Is he dark calling on the coast right now, or is he dark calling in 49 to move back to 6?
I mean, Athens, we're sitting here playing all these games about figuring out where he is. We know he's in Athens.
It is always Athens.
That's what they
That is
do,
true.
those vampires. Especially if you're gonna dark call. Like, to me, that telegraphed it right there. That he's in Athens.
Maybe he dark called so Belgrade could become a lair before he moved on to it. You know, maybe that's why.
That would be kind of big brain, but I don't know about that. Like, what you're gonna put 2 encounters on Belgrade and then what? Get jumped?
Well,
Wolf
who's
form?
gonna jump you? I mean,
You're
Arena Vigor
gonna
would
get
be
jumped in
bad.
the following days, Pizza Wizard.
Oh yeah.
When you
Well, he still has
when you
wolf form
eventually
though.
have to leave Belgrade. Yeah, but from Belgrade, what are you gonna
Leaves all the
do?
coast options open. Leaves all the coast options. I guess not
Right,
Bologna
but
because it's on the trail.
it leaves the coast open, and then Dracula can go to sea, and then he has to land without wolf form.
Yeah. Hmm.
You don't want that as Dracula. You want wolf form ready to go while you're ready to land.
Well, if he is on the coast like you surmise, he will have to leave today or feed or wolf form.
Yeah, but I wouldn't feed unless it was part of like the grand plan or something. Like
Like he's in
you needed
49
to
and he
stay one
feeds.
extra day, something like that. Otherwise, I wouldn't feed because I think it'd be better to feed when you can get the full value out of it.
Mhm. It's just Van Helsing also has not left England, which is kind of weird. It's kind of late in the game. Like it's end of first start of second week. He's not in England at this point. Why is Van Helsing sitting in England? Maybe he has to do important trades. Maybe that's why.
Trading, supplying, yeah.
It's like normally you don't want to draw a horse on him, right? So as soon as you kind of know the dragon's not in England, I kind of take that as an excuse to move him for like 3 turns, so he can't draw a horse. Um, that seems not to be the case here, which is getting him more supplying. That is true. What is Dracula? This is big for Dracula today.
46, 3, or 49.
Could you imagine if he fed on 49 just to really sell that it was the coast? Just to like
I've actually
make
seen
them buy into
Randiv
it?
do that before as Dracula. I forget who he was playing. I forget some of the details of the game, but I do remember that it seemed like he was in like Varna or something. It seemed so obvious that he was in Varna, and then he fed, and it turned out he was somewhere else. He was inland at like 6 or something like that.
It's just gone to sea.
Yeah, sometimes as Dracula, painting the picture for the hunters of what's going on can be really crafty um, when it's not actually what's going on. The most
Okay,
obvious
Godalming.
example is like, oh yeah, you're right, he went for it. Dracula's not ambushing. The most obvious example is like, I'm gonna move 2 spaces and then go to sea, and they'll think I'm in Ireland, right?
Right.
When really I'm not. I'm in Bari or something like that. But yeah, you want to. I heard Quincy Morris refer to it one time as shadow trails. You want a lots of different potential uh, trails that Dracula could have made that all seem viable.
I kind of want to start Ireland now that you've said that. I feel like, yeah, you like put a hoax in 18.
Oh yeah.
You you put a rumored vampire in 23. You get in the sea. You wolf form from the North
No, no.
Atlantic.
What
You
you
go to like
do?
15 or
You
something.
start in Edinburgh and you wolf form to Liverpool, and then you
What?
put down your first encounter in Liverpool there. Then you go to sea and you land in 18 and put your hoax there, and then you go to 23 and then North Atlantic, and the world's your oyster. You know, you can land in Spain, you can land in Germany at that point.
I feel like you want your first encounter to not be in Liverpool then. That way, if Van Helsing's going to go to Ireland, he's going to miss it, right? Like,
No,
put it
no, but
in.
that's the clever part, Pizza Wizard. He'll go to Liverpool and get delayed by your encounter. And now that he's delayed, the one in 18 goes through.
But what about just. What if he goes to Swansea instead? Because it's only 1 space and he can just move there.
Ah, why would he do that? But if he goes to Swansea instead, he's still going to be looking for your encounter, which means he's then going to go to Liverpool to defeat the encounter.
Yeah. I really hope there's not a vampire in Bologna. Because, obviously there's stakes everywhere.
He would be able to clear his dark call off the trail, thus enabling him to dark call again. Ooh, that's scary.
Ooh.
Okay, we got wolves on the hide card. Double knife.
Oh,
Die,
Godalming is
wolf,
kitted out.
die.
And
And
the
it's a
second hoax gone. Well,
hoax.
hunters are happy to see both hoaxes gone.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to live
Mm-hmm.
in fear of a hoax for a while.
I do maybe find hoax with wolves to be a bit questionable. Not to be too hard on him, but and obviously I couldn't see his hand of cards, right? He might have had
Mhm.
a hand that he just had to do something with. But to me, if you're gonna hide with wolves, you want the card that you're hiding on top of to also be a damage threat, like a mob or a vampire or heck, another wolves or bodyguards maybe. That way they land on it and you're applying a whole heap of damage between the wolves and the other card. Whereas with a hoax, it's like, yes, you've delayed him, and he had 2 knives, so he didn't take any damage. But let's say he only had the 1 knife. Like, you're gonna delay him and damage him. But I think I would rather go for like double damage or a vampire.
I mean, hey, on the plus side, that's 2 stakes gone on non-vampires.
That's
You
true.
know,
That's true. You've gotten the stakes out of the way with your hoaxes, which is actually a useful tactic. Also, by putting down the hoax, he ensured that, if they decide to just ignore Valona and say, screw it, let it mature, he's going to punish them for that with the hoax mature. So it is good to put down something that's high value under your hide card. So I do approve of that. But the wolves weren't able to delay him,
I
and
mean,
the hoax wasn't able to damage him.
would a delaying encounter outside of bats delayed him either, though? I feel like it was kind of hedging his bets, right? He put the wolves there so that if he did get jumped on, he would have some kind of like
Hmm,
ability to deal damage
that's a
before the
good
fight. And then the
point.
hoax is there so that if they ignore it, it he gets value. So I feel like he was kind of hedging his bets.
Yeah, you get a little
Um,
bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You're right. It was
Obviously here it didn't
possible they
exactly
could
work
have
out.
jumped on him, and then you spring the wolves on him, and it hits everybody in the city. Okay, so this has got to be Athens, right?
I mean, it would be the ultimate bluff for him to not. He can't go to Athens today. He waits supplies and then he goes to Athens tomorrow and it's in Salonika. How bad would that feel?
Mm,
Okay, it looks like he is believing it to be Athens and
right,
not moving.
right.
I really hope it's Salonika. That would be so sick.
That'd be some
Come on.
crafty stuff there.
One time.
I kind of wish Randiv had called him out on it. Just been like, okay, fine, I'll go check Salonika. If I can't move to Athens, I'll go check Salonika. That's the thing about that mind game element as Dracula. You're gonna sit there and put up your roadblock token in front of Athens and chuckle, saying, "Haha, now he'll think it's Athens."
But
But the
actually,
but the hunter player might just say, "Well, now I can't check Athens, so I might as well check the city that at least I can check."
mhm,
And then you just congratulations, you played yourself. Uh-oh, that's not a yellow 2. That's not
yeah,
what you want to
it's
see.
fine.
We want to
I
see the
mean,
yellow
obviously it
2s.
hurts, but yeah,
Maybe
it's fine.
she can take the train though to 25.
True.
If Dra-
It seems like she meet up with Seward for some reason. Maybe she has double horse.
let's say Dracula wolf forms, right? And he's in the Adriatic and he wolf formed to 25. You can play Speedy Telegraph. Have Mina go check it out, see if he's there. Then Seward can catch up with a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess you could just have, you don't really need to play Speedy Telegraph. You just have Seward check it first.
Yeah. There are situations where I play speed telegraph. I'm like, hold on, I just want to do most of my actions in normal order. I just need like one action. Like I needed to
Mm-hmm.
play my hypnosis first, and I don't really care about the other ones.
Right,
But
right. But that's also assuming she'd be willing to draw for a yellow 2 ticket.
yeah,
Which means messing up
which
your precious horse economy.
hey, don't make fun of the horse economy. All
Uh
right, it is good.
huh.
Okay, the way don't say you weren't your precious horse economy. I heard that. I heard it.
Well, if it's almost perfect, it's probably good enough.
Okay. Yeah, he's just layering stuff. Does he land today if he's in Tyranian? Does he like land tool form maybe or something like that?
No, you just go to CAG. Or if you're
Just go
feeling
to keg.
a bit more clever, maybe you land in Naples instead, right? Or Rome. Maybe
Mhm.
Rome even.
I don't like keg. Maybe it's crazy. I feel like keg is not that good
It all depends on
because,
everything else.
right. Like if you just need an extra day, because you want to land when you get points, that's great. But I think that if you're just going to keg in the middle of week two, and especially in this Dark Hole term where people are taking more damage than normal, I feel like
Hmm.
you don't want to be doing that.
No, I hear
You
you.
you want to be preserving
It
your health.
it certainly I don't think it's the panacea that people might think it is. There's a
Ooh,
time
searching
and a
him,
place for it. That's a good
Marseille.
check. I like that check.
I mean, even though he wasn't there, that still tells you quite a
I
bit,
was
right? It
just
tells you
about to
that he's
say
not
it.
beelining west.
Yeah, before you checked, I was thinking, well, what if he's in the terrain and he wolfed to 36? Now it'd be really clever. Oh, it was Salonika.
Well done.
Well played.
That's
Well played.
huge, actually.
Yeah, way
Because
to
now
confuse him.
Godalming can't get there, right? He just will not get there in time unless he has an event that we don't know
Or
about.
supplies for a horse tonight.
That's true. He could night supply for the horse. Yeah, that is very impressive. My hats off to that for that play. That
Well
was very
played. Well
good.
played.
I liked that.
He could always excellent weather there, you know.
True.
You could
Yeah, that's
have
right. Unless he
you
has
could
some
have
event, right?
Van Helsing trade him the excellent weather.
Oh my god, that saboteur really it like mind gamed Randiv. Like the roadblock wasn't even that good, but what it did do was make Randiv think for sure it was Athens, right?
It's
Like
also
it got in his head.
the fact that he was delayed by the saboteur is also significant here. Otherwise, he'd have time to get back to Salonika anyway.
True, it did lose a day action for
Mm-hmm.
the hunters, which is valuable. But that that is just some good
Yeah,
quality board gaming right there. I
that's
like that.
that saboteur is earning every one of those gold vampire coins.
Mm-hmm. Every one of those drachmas.
Draw.
So where did he land? If he wolf form, do we think he's still
Good
in the
question.
east? Is he still in the east? Because he
Oh,
could still be in the east, right?
is he being a bit of a clever boy and he went to Black Sea and wolf
I mean,
formed there? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
he has eliminated all of his layers. They're all gone except for Valona.
This is where a bit of the
So,
old psychic bond would be a real treat. This is just what the
mm,
doctor ordered. Heck, I'd have been fine with Seward and Mina both headed to Venice.
well, now
And
Mina's moving down to 49.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, she's probably gonna get deal with Salonika. That's probably why she's moving down there.
I'd have been
That
fine
makes
with
sense.
Seward and Mina both going to Venice, and then you psychic bond Italy, because you already checked 36. So at that point, you would know he's not in 25, 20, any of those Italian cities in the south. He's not in CAG. He's not in 37, trying to be clever and move to 36 on the next turn. Um, you know he's not in Munich because Dr. Seward's in Munich. So that would eliminate quite a significant part of the board.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't do it. So
He did
now
not.
you gotta either that or you could have left Mina behind, move Van Helsing a little quicker into position so that Van Helsing and Seward are ready to catch Dracula in the west, right? Meanwhile, you leave Mina behind, and Mina and Godalming do a psychic bond of the east. And that would tell
I
you
mean,
where Dracula, whether he went back to the Black Sea or not.
they might still do that here. I mean, I guess it depends on whether they want to deal with Salonika, right? Because if they want to scan tomorrow, they kind of gotta do it now. And
Oh, he
even if they
fed. He
scan,
fed.
Fed?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
Dracula fed. So that means you get another bite of the apple here as far as the psychic bond. Because,
you're right.
I mean, you know this, but for anybody following along, let's say Dracula had go to the Black Sea, right? And then he wolf formed to Bucharest. Well, instead of feeding, he could have moved to 28. And then by the time you Psychic Bond, your information is no longer as reliable as it could have been.
Right, because he could
That's
have
why
still
you
done
want to.
that and now be in like Belgrade.
Right, exactly.
Ooh,
He could be in 2 or 3 different regions at that point. But with 36 eliminated, that just leaves all the Italian cities, essentially, and 10, 17, 56, 50. He
do you
cleared the
check
Sofia
Cagliari
layer.
here?
There's no layer in Sofia.
He's still in
Interesting.
10.
Interesting.
Ooh, he did not want to be revealed though. That
No.
hurts to be
No, he
revealed.
was relying on that obfuscation.
What does he do now? He doesn't
Uh,
even have layers to go to be eliminated. He got rid of all of them in
yeah,
the name of obfuscation.
that was a Scott Sword-worthy hired scouts. Randiv's great with these scouts, I tell you. When I played Randiv a few tournaments back, he scouted me over and over again. It was like I was revealed the whole game, it felt like. He's very handy with those scouts.
I mean, it's paying off here, and it looks like Dracula. I feel like if Dracula had Sensationalist Press, it would have come out there. So probably not
Oh,
Sensationalist Press.
yeah. You definitely sensationalist press that one. Guaranteed. Um, oh, yeah, no, he's in a spot of bother now. Wolf Form's gonna be days before it comes back.
He just needs to
Feed
get to
won't be
Bologna, I
coming
think.
back.
Bologna's his only seaport out, and it is a layer, so he would have some small amount of protection there.
Yeah, you go to Sofia and then Valona. But what happens if by then Godalming's blocking Valona? You got to move on to him, and that's really dangerous. You have that Dawn fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you
No,
use them. That's my boy, Rando. Dealing with the cat, I see. See, that's how you recognize a true gamer. Is that
it's
he's
cats on the keyboard.
gaming and he's dealing with his cat at the same time. Cats can be quite a handful, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
Did you know that in the book, Dracula also commanded the loyalty of cats?
Well, like the feral cats, right? Like the street cats,
Uh, I guess so.
right?
I don't know if he could command your house cat. I don't know if anybody could
He
do that.
probably could. Oh, that's true. Actually, no, you're right. They are kind of naturally resistant
But
to
according to Van Helsing,
command.
yeah, he says that Dracula could control all kinds of creatures of the night. We know of the bats and the rats, but one we don't hear about so much that he mentions is cats, as well as I believe owls, lizards, if I'm not mistaken. But of course wolves as well.
Wild animals.
The creatures of the night. The
Mm-hmm.
lesser, meaner creatures, according to the perception of the time, at least.
Yeah, yeah. Now Randiv is in the tank. He's thinking.
Yeah, he's thinking, how do we capitalize on this? I
Is there
mean,
gonna be like a CG play tonight? Maybe. I mean,
yeah, maybe that's what he's pondering. But what do you do with that? You can't do 22 or 28.
you just force him back to the coast, right? He can't go Black Sea for like 3 more days.
But you can't. You can't force him back to the coast because
You can make it so he has to either hide or go to 17 if he has full CG. I don't know if he does.
No, because Dracula will be able to go to Galatz or Klausenberg.
Oh, I forgot. I should have read the card. You can't put a token in Glass.
You'd be a
right.
fine Yu-Gi-Oh player, Pizza Wizard.
Oh, he's okay. So Mina is blocking 6. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you maybe CG could still be the play because you force him to go to the Galatz, to Klausenberg, to those castle adjacent cities, and at that point he's pretty boxed in. I mean, you could just dive bomb him and kill him, but the problem is if he survives and then he just goes to the castle right afterwards, and then he bides his time with a feed and a hide. Maybe he does get out of this with a wolf form. We've seen crazier things before.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, maybe you don't do that. Maybe you just let Dracula make his move here, and
You
depending,
save it one day.
yeah, I mean, depending on what he does, you might be able to hit him regardless. Where's he gonna go? He's not gonna go to 17. Well, he could. He could. I mean, with a move to 17, and then a hide and a feed, he actually could return to the Black Sea. Oh no, but he won't be able to feed.
Right, because he's already
But he
already
could,
played that
but
card.
he could maybe Dark Call or move to 56 at that point.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Black Sea is not as far away from him getting back to it as it might seem. It's on the third space of the trail already. Tonight, when he moves, it's going to be on the fourth space of the trail. So, by moving to 17 and 56 and delaying or stalling a little bit with a hide, he could still return to the Black Sea, go to Ionian, go to Turanian, get himself out of this. Oh, did he give Dracula a card? Oh, yeah, he did. He accidentally Night Supplied.
Ooh.
So it was a misclick on his part, he said.
Well, I mean, maybe Dracula's fine. You know, he's got like a Dark Returns he's gonna play. He's gonna move Sophia Dark Returns move. I mean,
he could be sitting here chuckling because he knows he's actually holding all the cards, so to speak. But I find that somewhat unlikely. Even if he has good cards. Okay, it was a Wolves.
oh, only a Wolves in Salonica. I mean, it's still kind of nice.
Even with good cards, though, I mean, he's a little boxed in. He's a little close for comfort here.
And Wolves is not, I think, what he wanted to see there. Like, even a Desecrated Soil to give him back up to 15 would have been really nice. A Spy. Like, there's a lot of value that could have been gained there.
I guess you don't target Godalming because he has 2 knives. So, okay,
right.
He targets Mina.
Who also does have an escape route, notably, so you're not really going to be able to kill her very effectively at all.
Still, better than nothing. 7's better than 9. I think Wolves is actually a decent mature. Not necessarily right now, like you said, Desecrated Soil would be a lot better, but Desecrated Soil is almost always better than Wolves to mature. But I think Wolves is just a tiny bit of an underrated card because yes, its effect isn't great, and its matured effect isn't great either, but both effects are useful and almost always useful. You see what I mean? Like, well, it's not. It sits right in the middle of the pack. It's not on one or the other end of the extremes, right? Where like Hoax has like huge mature value, but its value in other regards is pretty low, right? Whereas Bats is the opposite. Bats has huge value everywhere else except when it matures. Wolves kind of just like sits right in the middle.
All I'm saying is, I think that if you have any other encounter that actually has a mature effect there, it is better than Wolves. Like, I think a Bodyguards is better. I think a Spy better. I think obviously we can't say Hoax anymore. Any kind of vampire would have been very nice. It would have knocked his sea space off the trail.
Right. I guess what
a mob would have done more damage.
I guess what I mean is that you have to look at it not compared to other matured effects, but just compared to all the cards as a whole.
Right.
You measure it up against all the other cards as they are, because you never know what's going to mature and what's not. Typically. I mean, not never.
True, right? And so I guess Salonica was fairly likely to get searched. She didn't know that the Saboteur was going to, like, you know, lay down its life to protect it. Okay, I like covering Bologna here.
Yeah.
Does he have a gun now?
What? Wait, why'd he get damaged?
From rats.
Oh, it was a lair.
These are potential king rats that we're about to see.
But he doesn't.
I think that's why he's covering it.
He doesn't have a gun. He has 2 knives. He can't knife a rat. They're immune to all blades.
He did supply for a day in Athens, so he drew another item. We don't know what it is yet because he got rid of the stake on the hooks.
Yeah, but he threw out 2 rifles too, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever tried to stab a rat, Pizza Wizard?
I don't. I feel like I don't know if shooting it would be better though. I feel like it's a very small moving target in like an indoor space. Yeah, I feel like you don't exactly want to be throwing guns around.
Yeah, but you have lots of bullets.
Well, okay, yes, I
You
also
can
have lots
miss a
of
few
things
times.
that I
It's no
would like
big
to not
deal.
shoot. I have a lot of.
Just aim for the rat. Be fine. Just
Oh,
make sure
see,
you don't use your holy ones.
yeah, all the holy bullets are gone. Speaking of, none of them.
How about this? What if when Dracula reveals rats, you can reveal a pistol or rifle to discard the rats? And if you do, you can also reveal a holy bullets. And if you discard the holy bullets, uh, Dracula has to get rid of all
Oh,
his rats from the whole rest of the game.
I think that's still a benefit for Dracula. I think Dracula wants you to do that because it's a terrible encounter, but
You've just shot the rats with so much heavenly power, they all just are incinerated.
Dracula's like, give me some of that. I'll take some. If this is what it takes to get rid of my bad encounters, I'll attend a Sunday night mass once in a while. It's fine. Okay, Mina has jumped onto Sophia,
And big
fearless because she has
surprise.
escape routes,
Big
right?
surprise, we
She's
got a
she's very safe.
Dracula.
Does she have heroic leap as well?
Ooh. That would be
Hold on.
kind of spicy,
That's
but
the
kind of
only reason she would
dangerous
escape
too.
here. Why would she escape from the ambush unless she
Oh,
has
she
heroic
does.
leap?
She
Doesn't
just
want to take 2
revealed it. She
damage.
just revealed it.
Yes,
Yep.
that's the only reason you escape from that vampire, right? Because you don't want to take 2 damage in that fight and then not be able
Right.
to play heroic
Right.
leap.
Well played, Randiv. Well played, Randiv. I'd rather heroic leap Dracula than escape from him. Now he's down to 7, but here's the issue. Mina is now crippled. She did her depart, but she's not really going to be able to participate in the follow-up attack. What you're hoping
Probably
here
not.
is that Dracula goes to 46 and you kill him with your 2 fine upstanding gentlemen, the doctor and the
Well,
aristocrat.
can Seward get there? He's so far north.
Well, that's where this little card comes in called Renewed Vigor, which is sort of, you could think of it like a super vampire lair, kind of.
Okay. Oh, now I understand. Sorry, I was having some difficulty understanding Super Vampire Layer. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's useful like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you call an S tier event.
Okay. Yeah. Root Vigor S here. This makes sense. So we call it a Super Vampire Layer because the Super is for S.
Yeah.
Well, Vampire Layer's only A.
The
It's
S,
just bumping it up.
the S is for sucks to be Dracula.
Exactly. All right. What is he actually gonna do? Right? Is Dracula gonna go to 46? Is he gonna go to 56? 56 feels bad, but I guess he could do it if he wants to. Like, if he doesn't think they'll check 56 immediately, he can then hide there, have 2 encounters, and maybe get black to black
But
C. But if he does that, he's taking so much damage.
Plus,
Then he has to like go to sleep for like 3 turns.
You're adding another C zone first of all. Plus, there's the fact that if they check 46 and he's not there, they're going to immediately assume that he is in 56. At which point, the jig is kind of up. You're not really going to have an extra day to dark call or to hide. You see what I mean? They're just going to get you the next day.
Well, I think you'd have 1 day, right? They'd spend the first day checking 46, 49, the obvious places, and then I think you could hide that night, and then they would all come at you.
And if you have fog, then you might still be in the game.
Well, Dracula just doesn't have that many encounters. Like he has not gone that deep in his deck, right? Because he's been going to sea a lot. He's been maturing and not layering.
It's been difficult for him to cycle through the deck, but he has played Dark Call, which means it's pretty likely he has at least 1 fog. I mean, you never know. They might both be sitting on the bottom of the encounter deck with bad luck, but
I mean, wouldn't even have to be that far down. I mean, there's 12 cards left, right?
It's
He has.
true. Yeah, that's true.
He's only gone 13. He has the top 13, right? So
out of how many is it? 25?
25. I don't think you can fight Mina here. I mean, maybe because if you could feed into it, maybe you could feed into it.
So if there's 25 Dracula events, which ones are odd numbered? He gets 3 reckless, is that it?
There's 3 recklesses, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I just don't think you can hide here. I don't think you can hide her. Like, unless I don't know what's in his hand. If he has Darkest Returns, maybe you Dark Call right now and kill Mina and heal with Fangs. like Snuff is saying in chat. I don't know.
Mhm,
I feel
mhm.
like it's all dependent on what does he have in his hand. Because I feel
But
like now is the time he needs to break the glass and use those cards.
but even if you kill Mina, they might just renewed vigor and jump you in 50.
It might be more of a way to get like an escapist bat off than anything, honestly. If like you have Darkness Returns or you have Nocturnal Visit maybe, and you can get a night fight during the dawn. Like you need some. I don't think moving is very good. Like you can move to 49. I think is the best option, and hope that Godalming does not check it, and then Seward can't get on you. I think that is the hope. Is that Godalming checks 46. You're not there. You're in 49. Seward for whatever. Maybe Seward moves on to you, but then you get another one-on-one, and you're kind of okay with it because there's no Agatha. So maybe he feels like he can win the one-on-ones. But even then, what do you do after 49? Like, do you go back to Bologna, which you'd be revealed in, and it only has a rats? It's just those cards better be good. I think he needs those cards to save him
I
now,
mean,
or he
yeah.
needs Randiv to make a big mistake.
Do you just go 49 and hope that they're too slow to catch you as you move towards Munich?
I just don't. I don't think he's fast enough. They have
He's
horses.
between a rock and a hard place there. Yeah, that's quite the overland journey to go through that corridor. And then option
It's
B is just move to Salonika and put down a fog, which is a plan, but it's pretty shaky as far as
I mean,
whether or not
there's
that's
also
going to
option
pay off.
D. You go to Belgrade and just like hope that they're very confused by your movement,
Yeah,
and then
yeah. Then you go to like 53 or something.
but like again, all of this leaves you landlocked for so long against at least one horse. I don't doubt that. Have we seen me? I've not. I've missed
Mina
it. Does
has a
Mina
horse. I'm pretty sure.
Mina has a horse? Does
Yeah.
Godalming have a horse? We don't know. He hasn't had to move more than one so far this game.
But Mina's hurt.
Right, Mina's kind of a non-entity for a while.
Yeah,
She could maybe like 2 days from now, maybe she could do something. So if it does turn into like a protracted land race, Mina might be impactful. But otherwise, she's kind of tapped out.
Roadblock.
Okay, that is not the caliber of event I was looking for. I mean, it's still gonna help. Okay. Is he hold on.
Is he telegraphing that he's in Sarajevo now?
Or is it another bluff to back up his saboteur bluff?
Why
He's in like
the
56
hell?
right now. He's gonna put one between 6 and 28 as well, right? He's just trying to stop Seward from going down. I assume. Otherwise, you're right. The one between 53 and 28 makes no sense unless you also block 28 and 6.
Put the hunters in a position where the only thing that he can do with Seward is just be like, all right, I guess I'll go clear Bucharest.
I still don't think 50 that actually makes sense. He can still get to 59 by going through Budapest, actually. So the one between 28 and 53 makes no sense to me, but it's okay. But is he bluffing? That's the big thing, right? Is this all smoke and mirrors and he's actually on a port?
I don't know if Dr. Seward has the horse, though.
How do you get to 28 to the horse?
I don't remember.
I feel like he had a horse to get. There's no rail. Unless he just walked.
There's
But that
renewed
feels,
vigor.
oh, you want to be sitting on a fog right now.
Super Vampire Lair.
Please tell me he has a fog. We need a fog right now.
Alright, but what do you do? Godalming checks 46. There he is.
Oh,
all
fuck.
misdirection. Fool me once! Shame
Oh,
on
and he ambushed with it? Oh, no.
Fool me twice. Shame on me, Dracula.
I think this is GG. Like, there's no even, now that he knows there's no fog there,
Yeah.
he's just going to give him the whole kit and caboodle.
Dog pile, yeah. You certainly want to at least wait till Mina, because Mina has 3 or 4 health, so that would have put her in quite a tough spot to be ambushed.
Worried
by
that
a
other
mob.
people would have had forewarned.
They
Okay,
have
Godalming did have forewarned. So the fog wasn't really going to help.
Yeah, unless you waited for Mina to move in and she doesn't have the forewarned, then you play.
Right,
the
you don't
fog and
ambush.
Get away.
I definitely think you don't ambush with the mob there, right? You're supposed to hold
I
it.
tend to agree. You need to play the mental battle a little bit. But it's also really understandable. I mean, I've been there too. Like, oh shit, my health is low. Somebody just moved on to me. I'm gonna ambush. You get a little in the moment.
As someone who didn't fog the Renewed Vigor Hunters in Valona when I could have, and instead chose to take a 3-on-1 while at like 12 HP in an isolated port city, I can hardly get mad at anyone for their ambushing strategies. I just feel like, even in the best case scenario where that does 3 damage to Godalming, that is not good enough.
You could have
You will still
potentially
die.
done 6 damage. 3 to
Or you
Godalming
need
and
to
3 to
like
Mina.
you need to make the hunters worry that you have fog, and then maybe
Yeah.
they won't move in with Seward. I think
Maybe
that is the only hope here.
you
You need
have
Seward not to get
you
there.
have to give them just a little bit of rope so they can hopefully hang themselves.
Because now it's all deterministic, right? They know there's no encounter in
Yup,
Salonika.
you just
Seward will move in there. So Mina's probably also going to move in, because why not? She can heal twice as fast with Seward. Now there's nothing to worry about in
Yup.
Salonika.
You've got a lot of surety now, which is what you want as the hunters. You don't want to commit to some big play and then it turns out you made the wrong move. Now he knows it's the right move.
Because I mean, hey, if there's a forewarned in Godalming. If there's no other forewarned, Van Helsing cannot get that forewarned to anyone else, right? Like if there's still an encounter on 46, there might be enough rope for Randiv to think, what if he just has a fog there, and then
Yeah.
he doesn't move on with Seward,
What if he's slow rolling me into the fog?
right? And then in the 1v1, I think you have some chance here. 2-on-1, you maybe 3-on-1, you're dead. Like I honestly think I shouldn't have won the 3-on-1 against Met King. I think I should have died there. Like legitimately, I think he played it. Understandably so. He didn't know there was desperate soil on the trail. He played a little bit more cautiously maybe than he should have. But I should have died there. I think a 3-on-1 is just. I mean, if the hunters have any sort of items at all, even if you have a lot of HP, the action economy is just so far. It's swung so hard in their favor.
It depends on precisely when Dracula can escape and if he has full health when the fight starts. But yeah, generally 3-on-1 should mean Dracula's defeat. But
or like at least huge damage.
The only exception is when he's at full health and it's still early enough that he can escape reasonably, then he might might just be like critical damage, but he can still escape. Make the rest of the
or
game
if like
happen.
a hunter is weakened by like the prelude, like one of them is really low and he can kill them in like the first round before they get to play their card, then it's not really a 3-on-1, right? Then it's just 2-on-1. But we're not in that situation. Mia's probably going to be at 5 HP. I assume she's going to heal after she moves in, so she's not going to be one-shottable.
If he'd had the speedy telegraph, she could actually just went ahead and healed before moving in. Would have been nice too. But I mean, it doesn't matter here because the encounter's already revealed. Whereas if the encounter was not yet revealed, there'd be a lot more question about, well, should I move Mina in? What happens What happens if she takes a bunch of damage? Like, what's gonna happen?
You gotta try to psych Randiv out, because I think if Randiv, like at this point,
now he sees the path to victory. Right,
I mean, no disrespect to Randiv right now. And any hunter player in this position with those pieces on the board, once that mob is revealed, will win that game. Like any hunter player. I think you could put in any, and I'm not saying Randiv is bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that once you eliminate possibilities, people will just go for it, right? Yeah. And they'll know they can just go for it because there's no chance of it going wrong.
It's a very clear path forward. Yeah.
Whereas, like, you leave the encounter there, some hunters are going to be more cautious. Some of them are going to think, I'm going to go for it anyway, right? There's some chance.
Give them a chance to make a mistake. The more choices that they have to make, the more opportunities there are for them to make the wrong choice.
Yeah. I mean, Randiv did play well. The Renewed Vigor play was good. He immediately checked 46. He didn't get psyched out by the roadblocks. Like, Randiv did play well this game.
Good check in Bucharest.
I liked Seward sitting back. Like, Seward sitting in Munich for a while and supplying, I liked that a lot. Because it meant that... Okay, good job, broke one of his 2 knives.
Yeah.
It meant that he was kind of, like, prepared for the fact that Dracula was going to leave. But then when Dracula didn't leave, guess what? He just went into the east because he was in Munich. He wasn't that far away at all.
Shot him. Oh, it's
holy bullets? Oh, we can't have holy bullets. Never mind.
It's a firing squad.
I wanted holy bullets there to kill him. That would be poetic. But no.
Yeah, well played both. Some tricky stuff from Dracula as well. He almost got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling hired scouts.
Honestly, that hired scouts was kind of backbreaking, right? That's kind of why the supply strat works, right? Is that there's enough information events that you will probably draw something if you sit there long enough.
And I think we also seen in action the idea that when Dracula leaves by the Ionian Sea, he can either head west or he can head to the Black Sea, right? And typically Draculas don't head to the Black Sea. And now you're kind of seeing why that's the case. It's because if Dracula heads west, he's leaving the hunters behind him and running away, and they have to chase after him. But if Dracula is in the east, goes to the Ionian, and then returns to the east, he's kind of boxed in, and they only have to, at that point, like close in and surround him. It's not over yet.
We've been putting this guy as dead.
He's
He
on
can escape
140.
this turn. Does Godalming have a third escape as bat item?
He could escape.
He had one knife, which he broke.
He played the other.
He played,
knife.
I think. Hold on! Don't give up! Don't give up!
Escape is a
He has a shot.
Oh, not against
he has a shot
her, though.
here.
She still has the rifle.
Oh wait, he just gets away.
It's a miss.
He gets away though. He could still have fog. Hold on, we have a game here. He moves to 55 with the fog. You know, Godalming just used his forewarned on the mob. Hold on.
But then what?
This is not. Well, I don't know. He can. I mean, it gives. He has another card. Maybe that's like a good card.
Yeah.
But
it's not over yet.
That was a lot. See, Randiv is saying he's dead. Don't count your eggs before they're hatched.
Don't count your
Don't count your
vampires before they're
You can count your-
dispatched.
Yeah, don't count your vampires before they're dispatched. He's still alive. Like, granted, he's crippled, but I mean, hey, we've seen it. We've seen
I've
Dracula's
been
live on
wrong
Orange Tree
before. Yeah, I've seen it before my very eyes.
Oh,
that's
he is
gonna
dead.
be that.
That's
though.
why Randiv is.
That's
saying
why
he's dead.
escape as bat is so important right there. Is because it creates some obfuscation to escape this fate.
And it just gets him off of the seaport where he gets CG into the sea as well. Yeah.
'Cause with an escape as bat, he could have multiple locations he could be in.
Could he have played escape as bat there? It's a question of did
Yes,
Godalming
against
have
Godalming.
another. But he had another item, right? He could have had a gun.
Yeah, it could have been the other rifle. It's true, but I don't know. Look at the discard pile.
There's 2 rifles in there.
And Mina has one. That's 3 rifles.
What is Seward playing in those rounds? He was playing pistol, I think. He played pistol round.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, he
I still
didn't.
think
He didn't
escape
have
against
escape as
Godalming-
bat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
The one time
Well,
you
you still-
don't have it.
I mean, it's unlikely you don't have it by round 3. It's 2 of it in the deck. I think there's like a 65% chance of any individual card that there's 2 of in your opening hand. You know, that
Which
only
is-
improves as you play
Yeah,
other cards.
yeah, that's true. But it's not a non-negligible chance that you
Sure,
don't have what
yeah.
you want.
It's not unlikely that he doesn't have it.
Yeah, GG's.
I mean, okay, Yeah, good job, Randiv.
Well played, sir. Well played. What's he gonna?
He meant to play CG maybe when he was in Bucharest.
Maybe. Is he gonna devilish power the CG token now and play?
Oh,
high?
hold on. Maybe. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
He should dark
I wonder
call,
what-
go out on his own terms.
Only I don't think he can dark call, right? There's the CG token in his face. He's forced to go to sea, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Randiv gets the achievement if he didn't already have it.
Fun
Of making
one.
Dracula kill himself.
Fun, good little game.
Yeah.
Some tricky plays from Dracula. Randiv not getting too befuddled and able to stay on target the entire time and close it out with a good win.
I really liked the Athens Salonica thing. Like, to me, it's just the little pieces of, like, gamesmanship. The game within the game. I don't know.
Well put. Definitely fun to watch the mental battle taking place. I've said
Randiv
before in this
decided-
game,
Be sensible. Go ahead.
even though the game might seem kind of dry and how do I put it, like rote, like step by step, like you're following a recipe, there's still a lot of room for expression in this game. A lot of it. You know, like putting down rats in Paris. So you can be
Saboteur
like,
in
my
Bucharest,
favorite,
maybe?
my favorite movie's Ratatouille. You know,
Oh.
there's all kinds of like ways you can express yourself while you build your trail or while you're chasing Dracula, playing Lucky Find with your garlic wreath, that kind of thing. And they don't all have to be bad moves, but
Yeah,
There's
you're.
all
I see what you're saying.
playing tricky moves with your roadblock and stuff like that. Yeah, very good bit of gamesmanship. Agreed. All right, everybody. That's going to be that for this one. Stick around. I might have another one coming to you later. But until then, thank you, everybody, for joining. Had a great time. Thank you, Pizza Wizard, for being here with
Thanks for
me and
having me.
everybody else. Absolutely. And we'll see you next time.